y'all don't know who this lady is, this is Fatima Monroe. This is the author of that old batshit ass crazy book, Mrs. Claus, the Serial Killer. Listen, let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Okay.
about it for a second. What made you say, I'm going to make Mrs. Claus and St. Valentine be in the same jail? What was you thinking?
Oh, so I was figuring she had to have somebody in there that she knew, that she was familiar with. Um, so I said, well, okay, what's the next holiday after Christmas? I'm like, oh, okay, Valentine's Day. Boom.
I said, they in here cutting the rug up in here. They got it by themselves. They are from General Pop. They are not in General Pop. They by themselves because they still got powers. What is going on? I cracked up. So I read that, and I'm a big fan of the Zaddy series.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
I
I've
thank you.
read Kaylin Hunt's. I haven't read everybody, so I read Kaylin Hunt's. I've read Lasanda's. I read
Hmm.
Nadia's, and I think yours
Hmm.
is the fourth one that I read, but I think it's like two or three more.
Yep. There's still Renee's, and I think there's one more. Oh, Dash. I think she's still working on hers because she had a couple other projects when we started that one.
Well, I'm gonna be on it. So you had the pleasure of getting Bro as a female male character.
Mhm. Mhm.
How did that happen? Because I was like, everybody found somebody a bro and finding love, but Alton, what is going on?
So since she was the founder of the Zaddy Inc. company, I figured that she may as well find some love from somebody too. I mean, even billionaire women need love too. Um, and I think that Alton was the best person for her, even though he was older and more refined. He still got some digs in with a lot of different people. But I felt like they were a good match because of their chemistry.
But Alton is, when I tell you that cover eats down. I was like, where he at? And then I'm gonna do a video after. I don't know. It might be tonight or tomorrow. I know I got like 6 or 7 videos to do. But there were questions about, could about the sugar daddies and the sugar babies. I was like, damn, my sugar daddy will be old as hell because the zaddy is younger than me. So this
Right.
my zaddy will be got to be in his 70s or 80s.
Now, it's some out there that will still say, "Hey, boo." So,
Mm-mm. I don't have a lifespan for 10 years. So, no. Yes, that Mrs. Claus book was diabolical, Dianca. It was very diabolical, very, very, very.
diabolical. I thought
It
it was
was
a
because I was like, Mrs. Claus is slaying it. She just unaliving everybody.
And it's funny because a lot of people told me that based off the cover, they thought it was a romance. But I'm like, well, maybe they didn't read the entire title because it says in the title, Mrs. Claus is a serial killer. I mean, that could have went either way. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna make her an actual serial killer. So let's see how this works.
But readers, okay, so that goes to show that readers don't read because it clearly say Mrs. Cause she's so pretty, but you would think that, I mean, if she's black, she would
Hmm.
be very pretty.
Right. I mean, she is Mrs. Claus. Why wouldn't she be gorgeous? She doesn't have to be the little old lady that they portray her to be in the fairy tales. I'm like, okay, this is Mrs. Claus, aka Charisma. Um, she has to be gorgeous. So, like, even in the book I wrote her, I'm like, basically she's a black Barbie, but she's also a serial killer. So, do with
I
that
mean,
what
and they are serial killers too.
right.
Now, what about, okay, so in your mind, what does Santa Claus look like? Because,
I'll put it this way because I'm working on. So I was supposed to have dropped his book last month, but since I'm trying to get back outside because I haven't done a book tour in a couple years now. So my thinking was to have his book along with the serial killer book, and then give them both away when people come to my booth to purchase a book. So if you buy Mrs. Claus, you get Santa Claus for free. So you'll be able to just kind of see what he's looked like, but he's not the gray bearded fat ho 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 at all.
he fine, fine. He got to be fine, fine. Because he's
He is
slanging D like it's the thing to do.
all across the globe, and it's okay because people
He
look
over
that
here procreating everything.
and be like, look, Santa can get it, and that is it.
He got to be fine. He got to be that one. I mean, my God, he sounds like the bishop. Micah, since you in here, he doing the Lord's work and he getting blessed. Too funny, too funny. Okay, so let's get into you. Are you a reader while you write? Can you read and write at the same time? Read other
No,
people's work?
no, because I don't want something that I've read to end up in my book.
Okay.
Um, and sometimes I'll read books by other authors, and somehow a portion of their story may some way get rewritten in my book, and I'll go back and I'll read it. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And I noticed that like when I first started writing, so I just said, you know what, I'll just focus on my work while I'm writing, and then once I'm done with this book, then I'll go back and tackle this TBR list of mine. But no, I can't read other people's work just because I want to make sure that their work is authentic, and so is mine.
Right, right. Do you have a book boyfriend, a book husband, and someone you would slide book out of your catalog?
Yes, a tiff.
And he's out of which book? You have to tell the people because not everybody's
So
read your work.
a tiff is in the he's in the Trap God series, and then he's also in Snow White and the Savage,
Okay,
book two.
that's another question I want to ask you. So, a tip is book husband or he book boyfriend?
Husband.
Now, who's your book boyfriend?
Book boyfriend would have to be um give me a minute. Let me come back to that because I got a couple.
Okay. I mean, no, but listen, ain't no judgment here. So tell us who your book boyfriends are.
That would have to be hold on. Because I'm sitting here and I'm just going through my catalog. Oh, Damascus and the
Okay.
book Damascus. Um, and Damascus, I loved him so much. Like I'm really sad that that book didn't get more traction than it did because he's a preacher's kid and he just cuts up. Him and his mama. She's first lady of the church. She cuts up too. Um, let me think. Who else? Who else? Who else? Mateo from oh my goodness, what is that series? You think I know? I'll have to come back to that one. I do know Mateo is one, Damascus is two, and then the Dope Man's Widow.
Okay.
The main character in the Dope Man's Widow. I can't. I just got so much other stuff on my mind. I am so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All
But
right.
yes,
All right.
definitely those three books.
Which character is there a character in your catalog that you identify best with? And who is it and what book is it?
That would have to be Capri from the Trap God series.
Okay.
When I think over her story, like a lot of her story parallels with my life. Like it's and the story was so fun to write because it was just kind of like me reliving some of those situations that she kind of went through. So I'd have to say Capri definitely. She kind of lost her mind eventually, but for the most part, though.
So, how long? Okay, I'll ask this question, and it'll question everything. How
Okay.
long have you? What made you fall in love with writing
Mhm.
first, and how long have you been writing?
So I think I fell in love with writing when I was younger. I used to write like short stories, just kind of to myself. Really, it wasn't anything that I shared with anyone. Um, I had a diary that I literally was just raunchy until my mom read it, and I said, "You know what? We ain't doing this no more because you're not going to be questioning me on my private thoughts." Um, but I've been writing professionally. This would be my 10th year, actually, in April. It would be 10 years since I've been a published writer.
Okay, you're under your own publication, right? Am I
Yes,
right?
since
Okay,
since
okay. I just want to make sure I got that right because I call myself researching.
thank you.
So, as your as an independent author,
Mhm,
publisher,
mhm.
how what's that journey like for you?
Um, so it's more work. I'll put it that way. Just kind of building your audience, finding out who your audience is, because coming into the industry, I was under a publisher. I kind of had that luxury to be able to, just with a publisher, they already have an established audience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once you go indie, I mean, you're still going to have some of those readers, but the goal is to get new readers as well. And then with the industry being so picky and finicky, and there's 5 new books that drops every day, weekends included. So just kind of being able to find your niche as far as remaining relevant, if you will. I have some readers that have been with me since my first book, some that are new to my catalog. Well, a lot that are new to my catalog, which I appreciate that too. I mean, I appreciate anybody that just reads my books. I mean, thank y'all for supporting me. But it's a lot more work. But if you're confident in your work, I mean, you know that the readers will come. You write it, the readers will come. It's just a matter of finding where they are. That part, editing, isn't really that hard for me because I mean, even as a published author, my my edits normally weren't huge. And As far as the business piece, I mean, that's my background anyway, so that's not a huge issue either. So it's more so just kind of finding that audience now.
Okay. Um, what do you love and what do you hate about being an author?
I love sharing my stories with the world. And when a reader hops, it could be one person, but when a reader hops in any of my inboxes and say, "What in the world were you thinking when you wrote this person or this book or this situation, this scene? What were you thinking? What was going across your mind?" I mean, and I like just being able to talk to readers almost like I'm talking to somebody, like I'm talking to a reader, like we're both readers, like I didn't write it. Um, so that's the good part, where it's like we can gossip about something that I wrote, and I'm just like, yes, could you believe that such and such did X, Y, Z?
Girl, because the way I want to get on the line at 3 o'clock this morning. Okay, so I don't know what it is with me and sleep, but
Mhm.
about 3 o'clock, my dog has to get up and go to the bathroom. So I don't want him to go in the house. So I have to get up and take him outside.
Mhm.
But girl, I can't go back to sleep. And I was like, okay. I'll say like the novellas for 3 o'clock in the morning because I know I'll be up from 3 to 5, 3 to 6. And girl,
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you it was 3 o'clock in the morning, I was in here screaming about Mrs. Claus. I was like, I know she fucking lied. I don't know what the hell she thought was going on, but I know she lied. How she gonna make my favorite? I said, and then Saint Valentine. I was like, oh, here we go. And then I was like, Rudolph been with her all along.
The whole time. She said Rudolph was her ride or die, and
Rudolph
Rudolph.
say whatever she say to do is what I'm doing. Rudolph said, let me change back into a reindeer and get her up out of here.
Oh,
I cracked up. Um, and I love the idea that it was a podcast
yes, yes.
because that
Because
is absolutely crazy.
I was gonna write it as something different because when I first came up with the idea, it came to me as okay, she's just kind of. I wanted it to be more so of a okay, it's Christmas 2024. You know, she knows that he's going now. She knows his route. She's kind of following him. But then I want to say, like within the planning phase, somehow I came across a podcast, and I think I was talking to somebody about making a book into a podcast, and I said, well, what if I just write this book as a podcast, and let's just see how that works out. You know, just kind of Mrs. Claus being interviewed, and just go from there. So, because if you read the first chapter, it just kind of shows how she showed up at that wedding. And then I'm like, okay, well, where do we go from the wedding? So I could have either took her to a couple people's houses. She could have either stalked down each person that was at that wedding, the ones that she didn't kill, or it could be just kind of after she got caught. So nobody thinks of Mrs. Claus in jail. So I said, okay, let's write this one, see how it works.
I do have a question about that, about
Okay.
Mrs. the book.
Okay.
What was the response that you received about putting Mrs. Claus as a serial killer and putting it out for Christmas? What was the response of your readers?
A lot of people were shocked because it came out around Christmas and that Mrs. Claus, you think of sweet Mrs. Claus making gingerbread cookies up at the North Pole and taking care of the elves. She's in jail. Like, so I got it was more so of a people were initially shocked. First off, that it wasn't a romance. Second off, that she was in jail, and why would you do that to Mrs. Claus? But
But
so
did they like it? Because I enjoyed it. Like I wish
they
I'd have read it during Christmas. I just didn't have the time.
understandable because a lot of romance books come out around Christmas. Um, so that was another thing where I just kind of hesitated about hitting that button on Amazon because I'm like, will will it get a lot of? I literally had it for about 2 weeks after I finished the final edit on it. I still had it for about 2 weeks after that because I was just like, I don't know if I should drop this. It's still a serial killer book. So but I said, so I kind of put it up on my Facebook, and I said, do y'all think I should drop this and just kind of release like an excerpt from the book? And everybody was just like, yeah, go ahead, drop it. I want to read that. I can't wait till this comes out. And I'm like, okay, well, here you go.
Did you write one of the Snowman series? The
No,
Christmas Christmas? Was that
mm-mm.
you? Okay, it must have been it's your name is familiar, similar to another. But I was like, I've read something else that you wrote, and I just can't think of what it is. But so okay, back to your books. So
Mhm.
you do a lot of retellings, like what was it? Something in the Savages, the what
Snow
is
White.
it? Snow White and the Savages.
Mhm.
Do you like Disney characters and you just like to retell them, or what was that?
So when I wrote that book, because that book came out a couple years ago, when I wrote it, I was looking at the books that had came out right around that time, right around that same time that book dropped. And I said, I want to do something different. That was right around when I had initially went indie. I had just written a vampire series that, again, that wasn't something that I normally write is vampire books. So I put out a vampire book and ended up having to write the part two to it, probably like a month later. So I said, what can I do different that everybody else isn't doing? So that's what I look at mainly is what can I do differently that other people aren't doing yet or other people haven't kind of latched on to. I kind of look at the charts, Amazon charts, and see, what's trending, and then I kind of go outside of what's trending to see, how can I kind of up my game and put, kind of put my own special mark on the industry. So I said, Disney princesses. So I kind of I pulled up like all the Disney princesses and said, which one of these stories do I want to retell? Oh, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So I'll just make it. It was originally supposed to be Snow White and the Seven Savages, but it was just Snow White and the Savage. But there are like people that are around her that are that are very savage. She falls in love with a guy named King. So I mean, I love the book because it's being told more so with the urban spin to it as opposed to the original book.
Okay. What genre do you enjoy writing more?
So I used to like it writing erotica, but I think as I branch out more and do different things, different stories, um, I can't really put myself in the romance category. I'm more so like I'd say more so of contemporary romance would be right around my niche.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like paranormal romance too because you can kind of you don't have to follow that strict set of rules with paranormal. I mean, because how many werewolves are out there walking around just out in public, just kind of hey, how you doing? Um, and like with the vampire books that I wrote, it was more so of you know he's a vampire, but he's also a billionaire media mogul. So,
Right.
just kind of pushing the boundaries. I think I like paranormal romance. So I'm not traditional romance. I'm more paranormal romance, a little bit of contemporary romance. Just kind of getting away from that urban setting that I kind of started out in.
What genre that you haven't done that you want to get into?
Sci-fi, actually. I have a sci-fi book that I started. I'm probably about 7,000 words in, that I just kind of stopped and put it down and started working on other projects because I said, you know what, I don't, I want to do it, but it's just like how I think it was the storyline that I was working on, the way that I wanted it to go.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't coming for me. So in that case, you just kind of put the book down and come back to it when it does because I don't want it to, even though it's sci-fi where you can kind of push boundaries again, I don't want it to not make any sense. So I figured I'll come back to it, and if it's meant to be, it'll it'll be. If not, then it's just 7K on my laptop.
It's gonna get done. I believe that it's gonna get done. What's the ingredients to a great character? What are your ingredients? Not what we think it should be, but what do you think are the ingredients?
um, Character has to be relatable, and their story should elicit some sort of emotion to the reader, whether it pisses you off, whether you fall in love with these people, whether they piss you off, whether you hate their guts, you should have some sort of emotion. A lot of authors are doing the AI books where the book is written mainly by artificial intelligence, and I'm just not into that because I hate that AI books are repetitive. Not only are they repetitive, but they're also you're not feeling the emotion that should come from the characters. It's you can't connect with the characters. therefore you can't connect with the storyline. So if I can't connect with the storyline, it's just like, oh, okay, well, congrats on your book.
But I think readers can tell the difference.
Yes, like someone who reads a lot will tell you, like, stop playing. But somebody who just kind of picks up a book and just kind of glances through the story will just kind of give you that. I mean, they'll blow smoke up your ass, basically. But it's just not my cup of tea. It'll make me put your book down in the first 10%. I'm just like,
Uh, what's the one thing that you will always include in your books?
a strong female character. All the women in my books have to be strong. Um, well, no, I'll take that back because in one of those vampire books, there's a female character that's not that strong. She's more delusional than she's strong. But um,
But she's strong in her delusion.
yeah, she is actually. She
Listen,
is.
I was just trying to help out.
I mean, and she knows that she's delusional because there as you read it, there's a point where she just kind of realizes, like, you know what, I should go home, but she kept going. So,
That is hilarious. Um, let's talk about character names. Is it hard coming up with character names?
I have a list on my iPhone of when I hear a unique name or I see a unique name somewhere, I just add it to that list. So I can just kind of go through, pull up that list and say, okay, boom, here we go. It used to be very difficult because a lot of authors just kind of come up with their own sauce on character names. So I just be like, okay, let me put somebody in here that you can pronounce. So now it's just kind of like, yeah, I just kind of refer back to that list on my phone now.
Okay. Um, what would your readers be shocked to know about you?
Um, Even though, like I said, I have a sci-fi book that's on my laptop, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, and I like old sci-fi, like so like the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. Like, I think that people will be shocked that I like watching the Twilight Zone.
Okay. Are you an outliner or a pantser?
I am not an outliner.
So
I
you
just kind
just
of
go for it.
I come up with the idea and let the characters write the story, and I just let them work through me.
You just a conduit. Okay. Okay. Do you have a favorite trope?
No, not really. Not really.
Okay, better question. What would you never include in your books?
Any abuse of a child, I'll never. No, I have kids, so you're not gonna see no kids in my books getting beat up or anything like that. I mean, no, because I have a domestic violence book that touches on domestic violence against a man. So it's like the woman was beaten on him, so I can't say DV, but definitely any harm to a child, I'm not touching that because
Okay.
I know how that is with mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, siblings. So no,
Okay. Um, do you read or watch reviews?
reviews. Um, I try to read all my reviews on my books, but sometimes a couple of these reviewers can get a little reckless. With me, because I'm very, I can't say it necessarily that I'm very sensitive, but I mean, I think any creative is sensitive about anything that they create, anything that they put out for the public consumption. So, with that being said, I mean, we try to tell other authors that are new coming into the industry, develop a thick skin. But sometimes, these reviewers are vicious, and they can get a little unnecessary with their comment, with their opinions, if you will.
Have you gotten a review like the best? What was your best review that you ever received? Do you remember what that is?
I can't even put that into a category because I've received a lot of reviews that have made me smile, especially on that Mrs. Claus book. I mean, I've seen some that just made me just bust out laughing. But so I can't necessarily say that there's one that sticks out because I'm just happy to be able to put out a book that other people have enjoyed, that they can leave a decent review. Um, but there have been reviews, like I said, that are unnecessary too. Sometimes, depending on my mood at the time when I read it, it could kind of put me into a different headspace. I mean, that'll throw a writer off. You know, it's one thing to say develop a thick skin, but when you got people that are literally calling you dumb, stupid, retarded, I can't believe, and I'm just like, it's a bit harsh. And how old are you? Because we're all adults. So,
Exactly. Exactly. They have nothing else to do but be stupid. Um, is there a book in your catalog that you wish had more shine? That you wish people would pick up and read more?
um, I would have to say Damascus.
Okay.
Um, he keeps me weak, and opposites react. Yep.
So I read Opposites React.
hmm that was part of the Zaddy
That's a
series.
Zaddy series, and when I tell you, I was so happy for Bro. Is that how you say her name?
Yep.
I was so happy for her. But it saddened me about her history. I mean, her family history, her mom and her dad. And I mean, I'm glad she made amends at the end. And however it happened, it happened. You guys have to read it to find out. But them siblings ain't shit.
Listen,
Now you have
listen.
siblings all over the place, and not one of them came to help her.
Not one. They was just like, sorry for him, but anyway.
Oh, that's crazy to me. But
But
Alton, he was that one for
um,
her.
he
Match made
really
in heaven.
was. He really was. I mean, because she kind of inadvertently pursued him, and then kind of decided to focus on other stuff. But then he also inadvertently pursued her. So yeah, I like their story.
I do too. I really enjoyed that. Um, what which book was hardest to write, and which book was easy to write?
I think my first book was the hardest to write, and the only reason it was because it was my first book. It's out of print now. I'm not probably not going to re-release that one, but I think it was definitely my hardest book to write. Easiest to write would have been, so last year, not 2024 last year, but 2023 last year. I wrote a Christmas book, and that book was initially supposed to be like a quick little novella and ended up being a 50K book. Candy Cane Kisses Under the Christmas Tree. It was easier for me to write. I think because the book takes place in a small town, a small fictional town, and it was just kind of mainly like, black people. It reads like a Lifetime story, but it was mainly like kind of black people just falling in love. You know, old high school loves reconnecting. And the story just flowed really easily. Like I said, it was supposed to be about 25K and ended up being 50. Um, just because the story just flowed so easily. I still got some people that were just kind of upset about how the book flowed and how some of the characters in the book were their stories, but I liked it. It was very easy for me to kind of put that out.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, would you ever consider being traditionally published, like from a big publishing house?
I've gone back and forth with that idea for a few years now because I like my independence and just kind of being able to put out um, what I like and things of that nature. But I've also kind of thought about going to a larger publishing house and going that route, just to kind of just more so for the experience. I think, but I mean, I think that I would have to have it written in my contract that I could still publish indie if I wanted.
Okay. Okay. Are you a person that have to have visuals and a working title when writing?
Not necessarily. Visuals normally come after the book's about 80% complete. The title, I've literally written an entire book once and didn't have a title for it. I literally sent it to my publisher and was just like, I don't know what the title of this book is, but read it over and let me know what you think. So,
Oh, that is hilarious. Um, that's funny. Um, if I'm trying to think of this question,
okay.
um, define your idea of the great American novel. And is that, have you reached it, or is that your goal? Your idea of it?
Because I was just gonna say, is there really truly a great American novel? But
It's your idea. I mean, it doesn't matter what anybody else. It's your idea.
true. Um, I think the great American novel would be something that keeps me on edge, something that's a page turner, something that pulls me into the story and makes me want more. I like other authors who write series. I normally do one maybe once a year, but now as an indie author, but I used to write series all the time. But if it's a good series, something that I can pick up, I'll go through the first book and I'm just like, oh no, I need to check and see if part two is available because I know she lying. Um, so it's something, if it's a great series or something that just kind of keeps me on the edge of my seat. If it's a storyline that's engaging, that makes sense. I think that would be the great American novel. I mean, something that keeps me laughing, something that keeps me crying, something that pulls me into the book so that I'm almost like I'm observing the book as it happens. And that's, to me, those are the best books to read because you're vested in the story. I've read books that are just like, oh, okay. And sometimes you read those books where it's just like, no, I need more. Even after that last book, you're still just like, I wonder what happened with them. You know,
You need an update, like, because
right?
I
I
know
mean,
I do.
what happened? What happened with the kids? Did they get married? What happened?
Are they still living? Are they still together? Is he still
Right,
swinging from here to there? What?
right.
That
What
is
happened?
hilarious. That is hilarious to me. Um, what's your idea of success, and have you reached it?
I don't think I've reached it. But my idea of success is when, let's see, as an author or just overall in general.
Overall, in general.
Um, Success is when you're not waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you've achieved that goal. Um, because for me, it's okay. I've hit this goal. Let's what's next. You know, it's always the what's next. What can I do next? You know, how can I be better? How can I grow? Um, and I mean, I think success is an ongoing process. You know, not necessarily have how you grow financially, but how you grow personally, spiritually, how you help out in your community. You know, how you help others. What do you do for other people? And that's constant and ongoing. I don't think that you can never necessarily reach success. I think that people on the outside looking in can assume that you're successful, but success is ongoing.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Um, if you could collab with anybody,
Hmm.
any author or writer,
Hmm.
dead or alive, who would you want to collab with?
Toni Morrison.
I like that.
Toni
I like that. Why?
Morrison. Um, she's a phenomenal storyteller. I mean, just phenomenal. So, like when I previously mentioned about how you connect with those characters and how the author pulls you into the book, that's her work is the blueprint for being able to create that world that you can't see, but it's more so creating that world in your imagination to the point that you feel that you've actually experienced what she's written about in a book where you just like, remember that one time when oh wait, no, I read that in the book. Shoot. So yes, Toni Morrison would be
Okay.
it for me.
Describe yourself in one word.
Um, I think that describe myself in one word. I don't know. I've never had that. I I wear many hats. So let me see one word for me. Ever changing. I think that would be
Good
one.
word.
Yeah,
That's a good word.
ever changing.
That's a good word. I have a question here. So there's an argument about what fiction is, urban fiction is, and what street lit is, and all of that. What is your idea of urban fiction? What do you feel like it is?
Urban fiction is a story that takes place in an urban setting, in my opinion. Um, so, and that could be that could be many different genres. I mean, you can write an urban paranormal and it's fiction. You can write an urban love story and it's fiction. I mean, it's not necessarily always about drug dealers and um, it's not necessarily always about drug dealers and gold diggers. Um, but street lit, I think, is more so when it's a retelling of like situations that are more street. So like fights, shootouts, robberies, stuff like that. I think that's more so street lit to me.
Um, what is your take on when reader says, um, because it irritates the hell out of me when I'm about to say this.
Okay.
What does it mean when a reader thinks that all black or urban fiction or black books are struggle love? What how do you feel about that?
Depends on who they reading because apparently they're not reading. They're not expanding their horizons. I mean, we black people go through all sorts of different situations and things in life. And I mean, it's not necessarily something that's just indicative to just black people. I mean, I think it's more so in the way that we tell it that people assume that it's struggle love, quote unquote. Um, And then all African American books aren't urban. I've read books that are literally just love stories. I've published books by authors that are literally just love stories. So I think that those readers who assume that urban books are all about struggle love maybe need to expand their horizons. Expand their reading horizons.
Okay, so to me, not every it's all authors at some point somebody's going to struggle in love, whether it be a white author, it be a black author, whether it be an
Right.
Asian author. There is going to be a point of struggle love in somebody's book. It just
Mhm.
does not happen in the black community. But
Right.
as far as romance books, most of them, whether it might be a little cat and mouse game, but it's not a struggle love.
It's not struggle. I think that so I wrote my first book back in 2015. Well, my first published book came out in 2015, and the publishing house that that book was released under was an imprint of another African American publishing company. A lot of the books that were written, because a lot of those books I read too. You know, we would of course post and post on our social media, hey, read this book. So a lot of those books I've read, and there was normally some sort of there's something that the female main character was missing in her life, and then there was this drug dealer in the shining Mercedes that came along and gave it to her. So a lot of those books did come out that way, so I can kind of see where that thinking would come from, where it's a lot of African American books of struggle love. But like to your point, um, a lot of the Caucasian authors go through the same thing. It's just not written the same way. So it just kind of depends on the author themselves and how they write the story. You
Right.
know, we can either write it as black girl need to get out of the projects because she has two dope thing parents, or or single mom who has a husband who works too hard and she's bored. I mean, it just depends on how you write it. So
Right. 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 Um, what is something everybody loves but you hate?
uh, character visuals drive me nuts. Oh my gosh. Because everybody wants a visual. And I'm just like,
Imagine it.
I
Imagination.
mean, shoot. Like, I'm still going on Pinterest trying to find some people that look like some people, and y'all doing AI. Like, I mean, character visuals drive me nuts. So, like, I try to write the story so that people are focused less on how the characters look and more on the story, because that's what is. That's, I mean, I can give you a an estimated, visual on how these people look, but I'm not going into detail like, oh, she's mocha brown with long hair with 32-inch bust down and big boobs and a big butt and she's flat stomach. I ain't doing all that.
Okay.
I ain't doing
Okay.
all that. I
Okay.
mean,
But you know what?
I,
To me, when it's not so descriptive, I can then develop in my mind what this person looks like. Like
and
Santa Claus,
definitely.
I imagine him to be fine, fine. But let me tell you something about opposites reacts.
Hmm.
Listen, that cover, when I looked at that cover, that's how I visualize. That's how I visualize him because I was like, oh, he fine, fine. So he is in this book. That is who I thought about through this whole book. But the
And
Santa Claus book, I
that's
had
what
my
my
own
focus
thoughts.
was.
Huh?
That's what my focus was with opposites react. I mean, literally, I reached out to one of my cover designers because I have about three that I normally keep in rotation. And they may not hear from me for about a year, and then I'll email them and be like, "Hey, this is what I need." Um, So when I reached out to her, I was just like, I need him to look like a billionaire. He needs to look kind of zaddish, a little young girl, but not too young. And it needs to look good. You know, it needs to look clean. So, and that's what she sent me back. I was like, all right, bet. It's almost like she was in my head.
Listen, because that man is fine, fine. Like he needs to be like next door to me so I could go knock on his door.
Borrow some sugar real quick.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, I don't know. Because I tell people all the time, you know, I've literally quit writing about 2,563,972 times. So I can't even say that I'll still be writing in 5 years, but if I drop a book in 5 years, y'all please grab it. Um but I don't know because I have like a lot of different stuff that I would like to do. Um different businesses that I'm looking to launch, different stuff that's still like in the planning phases. So I can't really speak on that. But I may not be putting out as many books, but I still want to be writing something. That's the goal.
Oh, I like that. Okay. All right. My famous question. Well,
Okay.
no, before we get to my question, my question that I love, what
Mhm.
hate to see you coming? Anything at all?
I
Because
would
my
have
debit card hate to see me coming.
listen.
The TikTok shop, it don't hate to see me coming, but my debit card hate to see it come.
I would have to say what hates to see me coming. Um, an interstate, a clear interstate would hate to see me coming because I would be out there doing every bit of 100 if there were no other cars on the interstate with me. I love to drive fast, and I probably need to slow my ass down. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten the super speeder tickets where I was going 83 in a 45. So yes, I would have to say a clear.
Fatima,
Oh my gosh! I
you
just
listen, Zoom Master. That's your name going on. Zoom, zoom,
I just,
zoom.
I just had to pay that ticket because I was just like, you know what, you about right.
I was moving. I was moving along.
Out there racing with some truck and didn't realize that the speed limit dropped, and yeah, truck
Gotcha.
slowed down and I kept going.
That is hilarious. All right. So fill in the blank.
Mhm.
My pen is
Dynamic. I'd have to say dynamic.
okay. I'm dynamic. Hold on. Come on, dynamic. It's still dynamic.
Dynamic.
Um, blank is life.
Reading.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
reading.
Okay. Okay. My favorite question is if you can invite five people, five authors, five writers, either or, dead or alive, who would it be? To dinner. Who would it be? You got
Nikki,
one. Toni Morrison.
Toni Morrison, Nikki Giovanni. Um, oh my goodness, I'm just trying to go through my list. Octavia Grant.
Woo! I want to be there for that one.
Listen. um, Sister Soldier.
Okay.
Um, and Alex Haley.
That would be an interesting conversation. I would want to be there.
It's a
I would let me serve the dessert.
it's a mix. I think that's a good mix, especially with Octavia there because she gonna turn everything into a horror story.
I would love to see that collab. I think you and Octavia could do a really good collab.
Oh,
That would be a good one. Um, all right, ready to pop your shit?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Where you gonna be in 2025? Where are you coming outside?
So I'm supposed to be in Oklahoma, but the way that my schedule is looking, it doesn't look like I'm gonna make Oklahoma.
Cause I'm
Um,
gonna be there.
yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm looking to make either Raleigh or Arlington. Um, those are my next two that I. But it just kind of depends on what my work schedule looks like. Um, and when I planned that Oklahoma trip, that was before I got promoted. So, and my promotion takes me like all over the place. So, unfortunately, and I hate that I have to miss it, I have to miss the Oklahoma trip. Um, so I wanted to make that up either Raleigh or Durham. I'm not Durham, either Raleigh or Arlington. And then I plan to do. I think somebody has Miami at the end of this year, so that's something
I
that I
think
think.
that is the Boozy Book tour with is it it's not Miami, that might be somebody else.
I think it was somebody else. I think.
Because they're doing Orlando with M Monique.
Hmm. Ooh.
That's in September.
Okay. I thought I saw one for like November in Miami. I have
Oh
to go back to my
no.
list.
The best person to find out is Jaleesa Reed. She can listen, she got all the events. She got all the events.
Oh, and there's
Um,
a Detroit event that I think was on my list to see to get some more information on that one. If it's
okay.
not so. So yeah, Detroit, hopefully either Raleigh or Arlington and Miami. Those are my three for the year.
Okay. So you coming outside.
I'm trying to get outside. If my job don't have me going somewhere else otherwise.
I hear you. I hear you. Where can the people find you? Where can your readers find you? What social sites are you on? Your website.
My website is monroepublications.com. I'm also on Amazon. I think I have a couple books on walmart.com. Um, I think I'm still on Target. I can't say for sure because Target and that DEI just kind of threw me for a loop. I just don't appreciate that. I have two books on Apple Books. Um, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, of course, TikTok. Um,
What's your name on Instagram? Because I was trying to find you and I couldn't find you.
Fatima underscore Monroe and Monroe underscore publications. Both of those are me. But on all other social media platforms, though, it's usually Fatima underscore Monroe.
All right, all right, all right. And your website is what?
MonroePublications.com. Oh, thank you, Sammy. She said Miami's Urban Book Expo is in April. Okay, so I got to try and see if I can get the slide in there too.
All right, I got it written down. Do you sell books? Do you sell your books on your website?
I do. I do.
Good, good, good.
I'm probably looking to revamp my website, but currently there are book links there for paperbacks. Or you can just inbox me and say, "Look, this is what book I need. Send me an invoice."
I think I need that. I need that Santa Claus book when you finish. When you get the Santa Claus book done, and the Mrs. Claus book. I need that on my shelf. And I need the opposites react. I need that on my shelves because I got to complete my daddy's my Zaddy series on my shelf. That is a must. Um, what else? What else? What else? Do you have any advice for new readers or author who is thinking about being a publisher?
Do your research, because it may look like you just uploading books and collecting money, but it's a lot more than that. So do your research, research, and when you think that you've researched enough, research some more. Um, Talk to other publishers that are currently in the business, and just kind of get some ideas from them. For one, you can network that way, and then for two, of course, you can get that advice from someone who's a veteran in the business. Um, and also build your audience while you're doing that research. Build your audience. Make sure that you have those mailing lists. Um, Make sure that you're sending out that email list, sending out those updates and newsletters to your email list, because that's what I tell my authors all the time. If Facebook and all these other social media platforms went away tomorrow, how do people know that you just dropped a book? And that's going to be your email list, building your email list. So um, that would be the main things that any author looking to go into publishing will want to kind of touch on. Make sure that your marketing is strong and robust, that you have a solid marketing team that likes to work. Um, and if you can get either a social media manager or someone who can kind of manage those postings and tasks and things for you, because it can quickly become cumbersome.
You ain't told not one lie. Not one lie. And that was really good advice.
Thank you.
Um, what was I going to tell you? Do you have any shout outs before I pop my shit?
I would just shout out to everyone who has read a book by me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. I love and appreciate you from here to the moon to the stars. Thank you so much, because if it were not for you, then I wouldn't have a reason to do this. So thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for taking a chance on me.
Okay, okay. Well, with that being said, let me pop my shit just a little bit.
Okay.
So, pop your shit. Tomorrow we have author Mo Flames, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Friday, we have author Michael Rain at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday, we have author Jatorius C. at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, we have author Chemistry J at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday, we have author Eddie D at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have Tuesday, author Natisha Rayner at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Wednesday, we have author Riel Knight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then following that, I will be on my way to the Boozy Book Tour, Tulsa. So I'll be there through the 22nd. I think I leave the 23rd. And then that following Sunday, we have Jaleesa Reeds on the podcast at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, with that being said, you can find Booked and Busy. It's all one word, BOOKEDANDBIZZE. I'm on YouTube. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube page so that I can reach my goal of 1,000 followers, so that I can monetize and do even more content and more things. I am on Blue Sky, Fanbase, Storygraph, Facebook, IG, Threads, here on TikTok, and Lemon8, all under Booked and Busy. One announcement that I do have, or is it two? Yeah, one announcement that I do have, well, two. I have on my birthdays, March 20th. Y'all know I'm doing a 55 book giveaway. I'm giving away books. Some are series that I'm giving away whole series. I'm giving away single books. I'm giving away all kind of different books. Some people might get one, some people might get four. Who knows? But I'm giving away 55 books. So make sure that you're tuning in for the open mic night on my birthday, live on TikTok on March 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When I send the post out of how you can enter, make sure you enter in those comments. Because if not, you will not be in the drawing. Um, December 2026. I, along with um, Storm and Shannon and some other readers, will be going to Dirty December in Nigeria.
Oh,
Lagos, Nigeria. We going outside. We going outside. So be looking for that. Okay. Um, I will be at the Boozy Book Tour, uh, Tulsa. I will be at the Boozy Book Tour Orlando this year. I think that's in September. And I will be potentially at the Black Writers Weekend. I believe I'll be there at the same time. So I'll be there too, I believe. And I think that's it. That's it, y'all. Thank you for coming on.
all right. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. Can I one really quick? I got free. So really quick, I've got free books from the 11th through the 15th. I've got Hell's Fury, Breathe, Opposites React will be free from the 11th to the 15th, and Taste will all be free. And then on the 24th to the 28th, most of my books will be free from the 24th to the 28th. So, but I'll get that list out too
Is that free on what platform?
on Amazon. I'm sorry.
I will let the people know. Oh, also, if you guys want to catch me, I am part of the Books We Love to Discuss book club. We sprint on Mondays and Tuesdays, and on Saturdays, we pick a book for the week and we discuss it. And sometimes the author is there, sometimes it's not. So I will be checking in uh, with with all of you on the book club. Can I ask a question? Do you have any novellas that's under 100 pages or 120 pages or less that is
I do.
messy or kind of spicy?
Um, Taste is spicy. Novella,
Okay, because
and
we
that'll be
might
free.
use that as a reading sprint on
Actually, it
Tuesdays.
should be free now. I'm
It's
looking at
free
my list.
now.
It should be. According to my list, it's free from the 11th to the 15th. So, yeah, it should be free now.
I will let my book club know because they love to read. Um, we try to read 3 books a week, basically. So we read Monday. It's messy. So whatever's messy on Monday.